About half of our merchandise is on our site. If you don't see anything on our site, you can go directly to FreidaRothman.com. And if you just plug in, as Susan said, for those who just joined, Cornell's as the code. And she's been nice enough to extend, I have to confirm with this with Susan. So if you order by tomorrow, at what time, Susan? By 2 o'clock?
Yes, by tomorrow, actually by 3 o'clock, you should get it by Friday or Saturday, before Monday.
So if you need this for a holiday gift for Friday or Saturday, it has to be ordered by tomorrow. I'm sorry, I still didn't hear what you said. By what time?
Tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Tomorrow 3 o'clock is the cutoff.
Tomorrow 3 o'clock, okay? So you can have it for a holiday. And it's also a lot of women come and buy these as self-purchasing gifts. And along with that, we are offering for every $100 that you spend, we're going to be providing food through Food Link. So for every $100, we provide 30 meals to those in need. So just keep that in mind. And that's one of the things I liked about Freida. She's so philanthropic. So I want to start out asking Freida a question. And I just thought it'd be nice during this pandemic because I know she's not only an entrepreneur, has her own business, and she's a mom. So what is your current state of mind, Freida?
My current state of mind is I'm feeling very optimistic. I am generally a very optimistic person. I like to always think of the positive and, you know, take every situation. I was really honored to be, the media I've been giving back through my business for every $100 spent, giving back to the elderly. I don't know if any of you are familiar with my background, so I kind of give you a little bit of background about who I am and what my brand is about. So I was born and raised in the jewelry industry. I'm a second-generation jeweler. My father's been in the jewelry industry close to 40 years. And I started my career doing private label for other designers. And back in 2013, I launched my own label. And that's kind of where the Freida Rothman brand started. I had 3 little kids at the time. And I was very hesitant to start my own company, put my name behind something. And I came to work one day, and my husband really, really believed in me and really wanted me to do my own thing and to have my own label. And I came to work one day, and there was about $50,000 worth of displays here in my office with my name written all over it. And he goes, "You're now officially the designer of this company. Let's get to work." That's kind of how I started. And of course, further in the conversation, we'll talk about, you know, what my design inspiration is. And giving back is a really important part of my business. And right now, during this COVID time, my state of mind is to try to remain optimistic, to give back to my community. And like my grandmother's taught me is, and it doesn't matter what situation you're in, is to always have a, you know, a positive frame of mind. So always trying to find a silver lining in everything.
So when and where are you the happiest?
I am the happiest when I'm with my kids. My 4 kids, I'm always happy when they're home. Well, right now I shouldn't say that because they're all home right now, so I have my moments. I'm very happy to come and escape to the office and be here and be speaking to you guys. But, you know, I'm sure so many of you can relate. When your kids are around you, you're just the happiest.
Do you have a motto?
If I'm a model?
No, do you have a motto?
Oh, if I have a motto, okay. I have done modeling though, just for my jewelry. I do have a motto, and it's something that I use almost every single day. It even happened today, is you learn from your mistakes. I think in business, you kind of have to learn to pivot and understand that these mistakes will keep happening, and you hope they don't happen again because you feel so bad that they actually happened. And that is kind of my motto.
So some of us are ring girls, some of us are earrings and necklaces and bracelets. And actually I'm wearing a stack of your bracelets, which I love. I don't know if anybody can see them. Can you see those? So I want to ask you, what is your favorite type of jewelry?
So I'm always going to answer with an earring. I feel like I can't leave the house without wearing an earring. I feel like it's part of my face, part of the makeup of my face. I must have a great pair of earrings. A classic pair of hoops always works, but earrings is like the first thing that I put on. And then, of course, you know, a killer bangle stack, because I feel like when it comes to stacking, you can really create your own look. You can mix it up with different shapes and, you know, really add some diversity to your stack and really call it your own. I'm all about mixing other multiple designers. Like, it doesn't only have to be one look. You can mix different metals and different colors, but definitely stacking really kind of, you know, you can create your own look through that.
Freida, tell me about that middle bracelet you have.
Okay, so the strength bracelet, you might have seen some of that, you know, on social media. This is a campaign that we launched back in November. It was called the Women of Strength campaign, and it was focused on highlighting women of strength. Now, my background is that I am a grandchild of 4 Holocaust survivors. And for me, when I think of women of strength, I think of Holocaust survivors. So we highlighted women of strength back in December. We chose 2 sisters that are survivors of Auschwitz that I grew up with. I actually have a photo of them that I grew up with, to be a face of our campaign of women of strength. This is Dolly Rabinowitz and Susie Schwartz, and you can clearly see the numbers on their arm. And I grew up with Susie's granddaughter. I was really close with her, and these are the most graceful, elegant, beautiful women, and we honored them as women of strength. And a percentage of the proceeds of this bracelet went back to help the survivors. And I became so connected with that community that that was part of our giving back, that we make sure that they're taken care of now during COVID. And this is really, for now, we've also been donating this strength bracelet to our current women of strength, is the women on the front lines, all the healthcare workers. So every week we nominate 3 healthcare workers and we gift them this bracelet.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, we don't have any of those in stock right now, but those are available immediately from you. And how much are they?
So these are $3.95 with a percentage of proceeds going to charity, and they are available to ship right away.
Oh, great, thank you. Okay.
Sure.
So you like to use color in your in some of your collections. This is like, I think, from the new spring collection.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anybody again can see that. It's kind of a turquoise color. Do you have a favorite color?
I'm always with blues. Like, if it's the summer, I tend to go like turquoises. I'll show you a couple of pieces that I'm referring to. I love going more like turquoise colors for spring. I just really love that pop of color. So blue, lighter blue color, sometimes it can be even an amazonite, which is a lighter green. I'll show you what that looks like. And then for like a holiday, which is a darker, again, sticking with the blues, I did like a sapphire blue, which was a darker blue, colors like this, which is your darker blue. So you'll always see some kind of blue. If it's a lighter shade or a darker shade, I feel like because it was my grandmother's favorite color, and I guess I had heard it so many times from her, and I use a lot of blues in my collections.
So I have, when I met you, a lot of your jewelry, you told me, had a little story to it. Can you show us some jewelry that you have and the stories behind it?
Of course. So like I said in the beginning, I was born and raised in Brooklyn, and my main inspiration does come from Brooklyn itself. I'm raising my 4 children here as well. So, you know, it's kind of interesting when you think about Brooklyn as a source of inspiration for jewelry. You think of some beautiful architecture in Paris or somewhere really, you know, you're on the beach somewhere. But I specifically like to choose Brooklyn because I like to take that grit to glam and see, and I purposely look for the grittiest areas in Brooklyn itself to transform it into something beautiful. And it's kind of a game for myself and my kids too. And also a great life lesson that every situation that you're in, you can always find beauty in it. It doesn't matter where you are, you can make good of every situation. So, you know, we have this game that my kids will, you know, I'll point at a fire hydrant and they'll be like, okay, mommy, what are you gonna find beautiful there? And I'll show them the grooves in the hydrant and I'll say, can you imagine putting those kind of grooves into a bracelet? Wouldn't that be beautiful? So they're able to see that come to life, and they test me a lot of times. So for example, the necklace that I'm wearing, this pendant, this is part of the signature collection. It has this beautiful crisscross design in it, which is inspired by the railroad tracks that are right outside my office. And what's really cool about this pendant is that when you flip it, this is inspired by the manhole covers here in New York. You can clearly see the black texture in it, and then I add these gold feminine embellishments around the face of the pendant. It is also an enhancer, and so you can take it on and off, and the chain that it's on is on a link chain inspired by the links that you see, those chain links that you see on the garage doors here in this industrial area in Brooklyn. So it's kind of cool for me to find areas and be like, I'm gonna, design a piece out of that. There's another really interesting piece that I want to show you. This is part of also the spring collection, adding blues, of course. This is part of the Celestial collection. And this is inspired by, let me just get this board and then you can see it a little bit more clearly. This is inspired by the cobblestone streets here in Brooklyn. So Susan, who's on the call, can definitely relate. But Susan and I, in the olden days, used to come to work in heels. And you try walking with heels on cobblestone, it's really, really hard. So I said, okay, now I need to design a collection. This annoys me every morning. Can you imagine if I add some blues, Amazonite, turquoise, clearstone, mother of pearl, and you can clearly see again, the textured black in the back, and this is on an oval hinge bracelet. So inspired by the cobblestone streets in Brooklyn.
So you would, Michael Cornell is here, and his grandfather, my father-in-law, would be so proud of you because he felt every piece of jewelry had to have a story. So I think it's such a great introduction because they're also meaningful. Do you have something else there you can show us with the story behind it?
Yes, of course. So if you look at the stacking bracelets, I'm really known for stacking. So again, always using that darkened metal in the background. Guys, you all have to excuse me for not having a manicure, but we're all in the same boat. So I usually never show jewelry that way. So when it comes to stacking bracelets, I almost like stole the name of Brooklyn Darkened Rhodium and the Brooklyn Brick. But that's really what we call it. It's that texture in the dark rhodium itself. And I also want you to think about when you are applying eyeliner or applying mascara on your eyes, it makes your eyes really pop. You're able to see it. So the same really applies with jewelry too. I feel like when you put that darkened rhodium in the background, especially of these bracelets, you're really able to see the stones pop. So this is clearly, again, using that black rhodium. We call it the street tops of New York City here in that texture, and then adding some pave work in it as well. So you can see that too. And some of the stacking bracelets.
So Freida, some of your bracelets are bangles and some have hinges, is that correct?
That is correct. So when you're stacking, just want to show you. So when you're stacking, I'm going to show it to you now with the silver because this also has that beautiful crisscross design that I showed you in the pendant too. So you'll see lots of crisscross work in a lot of the pieces that I do, inspired by the railroad tracks here in Brooklyn. So this is an oval hinge bracelet. If you are concerned about size or you're not sure something's going to fit you, the oval hinges tend to fit every wrist, if it's a small wrist or a wider wrist. So that is because when you open it, it gives you a really nice opening right there, so it can slip onto even a wide wrist. And keep in mind, our wrists are the shape of an oval. So they really hug your hands really tight. There's another way to stack too, with slide-on bracelets. So I usually do wear a lot of the slide-on bracelets. I just slide them on, but then again, it doesn't fit every single wrist. Don't feel bad if it doesn't fit your wrist. But again, I want to show you also about mixing different metals. Like, don't be afraid to wear silvers and golds. This again, this is inspired by the cobblestone streets. That little brick, those little bricks, you can clearly see it in those bracelets. And I also love the way it breaks up the stack. You know, it's nice to have something a little bit wider. This bracelet right here is a great way just to start your stack and then kind of build your little skinny ones on the side. So this would be a slide-on stack. So again, if you're concerned about fit and you've never worn the bracelets before, go with the oval. Otherwise, stacking is also a really lot of fun. Just throw them on.
So we know your inspiration is basically coming from around where you live. What season are you designing now for fall, or how far advanced do you have ahead of time give you?
I have to design a little over a year in advance, which is very hard because sometimes you just get your trend reports. You only get them a couple of months before, and so you really have to like trust your gut and understand really know your customer very well in order to design for over a year in advance. So I already submitted spring 2021. So now I'm on to summer 2021.
Wow.
Yeah. Yes, if anybody has anything they want to see, this would be a good time to tell me.
All right. Do you have any sneak previews for us yet, or is it? She wasn't prepared for me to ask this question.
No, you're throwing me off course completely, Olivia. If I have any, well, I can hint you a little bit. The fall collection will be more silver and darkened rhodiums. I do always like to use more silver and black for fall because I feel like that's the time when we're wearing lots of grays and burgundies and we're just in the mood of something a little bit edgier. So I do that usually once a year around fall time.
Okay, so let me ask you, what are your hobbies?
Hobbies, I do love to cook and to bake. I like to bake a lot. Every Friday night I have a huge dinner for Friday night Shabbat. So it's a full 4-course meal, and I do love to entertain. So I have a beautiful patio in Brooklyn, which is a big, big thing. And, I love having people over and barbecues and kids and family. I'm missing my family a lot right now. I'm sure so many of you are as well.
So let me see, when you're cooking, are you wearing all your jewelry?
Of course, we're always stacking, and we're always stacking. My kids know already, like, are we going to Instagram you doing this with the bracelets? We're always stacking. I mean, it's so much a part of me already, like all the jewelry that I wear. I grew up in the jewelry industry. That's what we gave out to everybody as gifts. I was like the jewelry girl since I'm little. So my father started this at the age of 18. So it's kind of, we're always in jewelry, always.
Wow. You've got a lot of great little pendants. So you have like a lot of like long necklaces like this and some short pendants.
Yeah.
Do you have anything there you can show us?
Absolutely. So when I'm thinking of springtime, again, I'm thinking that we're wearing either lots of whites, lighter color palettes, and I love adding color to your wardrobe. So for example, I would start with a larger pendant. So keep in mind that when I show you these pendants, they do kind of hit you right around here. You can actually see the layers that I'm wearing. So every pendant that you do wear, I always suggest to frame it. Every pendant just looks really special when you put that beautiful frame of a long chain. And what's really a nice feature about this long chain is that it is double-sided. So either way it flips, you will see that workmanship. And I do love movement on a chain. So there is that movement. And again, classic, just a diamond by the yard chain framing this larger pendant. The larger pendant is also an enhancer, so it can come on and off. You can add it to a link chain like this. You can, just keep it on the long chain as it comes. But this is just such a beautiful way to elevate just your everyday look. One of my favorite things to do is just look at somebody dressed in my mind and be like, oh my God, if I just added that necklace or that layer or that bangle stack, it just completes the full look. So accessories are so, so important to, really finishing your look. But this is a beautiful layered necklace. I will show you one more layered look. So I'm sure you guys have seen so much of this trend right now of links. It's all over social media, so many of these links. But I wanted to make it more mine. I wanted to make it more gritty and add that darkened rhodium. So again, when layering, I would start with just like a classic oval pave disc. And of course, all of these do come in a more silver finish too. And then just add more layers. And look how pretty this link is. It has every third one has a pave detail in it. Again, inspired by the chain links here in Brooklyn. It gives you that gritty, edgy look by adding the darkened rhodium and really hits you up here. Now, keep in mind, we're all in Zoom meetings. We're all doing lots going on up here, but this is also a beautiful, beautiful layered look.
So, Freida, right now we kind of missed our spring. We're right into summer. Do you have some good recommendations for summer when we're getting to wearing summer dresses? And
I feel like
I love your layered look, by the way.
What is that?
I love your layered look.
Thank you, thank you. I am all about color right now. I feel like we're all going to want to have color in our wardrobe, especially if we're going to come out of this craziness of this just feeling like this cloud is over us. And I'm like, I want to wear the biggest turquoise earrings. I want to wear things that are coral, that have fun in it. I want to feel good about what I'm wearing. And I feel like we're going to be seeing lots of you know, I'll go back to what I showed you earlier so you can see more color. But I'm thinking some of these hoops by adding turquoise and whites. And lots of these do come in the coral colors. You're going to see lots of amazonite. But adding color to your wardrobe and to your stack. I want to show you a gorgeous stack. Here you go. You can add color to your stack too. If you have that signature matte gold and the matte silver, throwing in some of these bracelets too, again, just to make it more fun. These are the oval hinge too, so, you know, easy as far as fit, but throw that into a stack like this and bring your color in there. But I think that's what we're going to be seeing lots of going into summer.
By the way, if anyone has any questions, Susan, they can type them in. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So if anyone has any questions they would like to ask Freida, there's, I think on your right side of your screen, you can type in a question. So Freida, you, with 4 children and a business, okay, and lots of family entertaining like every Friday night and cooking, do you have time to read? Do you have a favorite author you like?
I do. I actually love to read. I feel like there's nothing more relaxing than reading a good book. It's just the best. Like, there's just something very peaceful. You know, there's one thing when you watch a movie, there's still a lot of noise. But when you open a book, it's very peaceful. Lately, I've been obsessed with Wally Lamb. I don't know if anybody has read his books, but I try to look up anything that's a New York Times bestseller. I trust their book review. But Wally Lamb, I think I read like 5 of them in the past couple of months, but definitely a big fan of his.
Okay, all right, that sounds good. Are you getting out walking a lot, doing some exercise with everything going on?
Who has time for that? I have no time. Between my kids, you know, Zoom classes, I can't keep up with those. I'm like, my kids are late. They range from my youngest to 7, and then I have 2 girls, 13 and 15. And it's just like that everyone finds a floor or a room and goes into their classroom, and then of course running a business and doing all of those things. But I wouldn't have it any other way. I love being busy.
Well, I know you said earrings are one of your favorite category of jewelry. You know what I like about what you do is you have a lot of little studs. I love your hoops. I mean, these are a pair of your hoops that I like, and I like the versatility of the hoops. But I love the fact that you've got so many different shapes and sizes. And you having long hair, we've got a couple people here that have their short hair. Do you have recommendations of certain types of jewelry that work for certain people, or?
So what's interesting is, I'm going to show this to you. I'm going to show you regular round hoops, and I'll also show you oval hoops. Now, what's interesting, and I don't know if you found that too, Michael and Olivia, that oval shaped hoops tend to fit a lot more. Women just love the shape of the oval. It's more universally fit for every face, even if you have a round shape face or a more oval shape. The oval hoops tend to work really well. Now, again, this oval shaped hoop is more of a wider hoop. It will definitely get you noticed. It does have that cobblestone, you know, pop of color in the oval shaped hoop itself. I hope you guys can see it. The camera is playing a little bit of games on me here, but has the combination of the amazonite, the turquoise, and the mother of pearl. So that's, there we go. So that's an oval shaped hoop. And then the earring right next to it with just pops of color of turquoise, we call this a forward-facing hoop. So it is on a hook, so you can see it clearly on a hook. Stays in your ear, you don't need to worry that it's gonna fall out. Now all the earring posts are 14 karat gold on the post, and the base metal is all sterling silver. So this is a forward-facing hoop, oval-shaped hoop, and then I'll show you, of course, the classic hoops. So these are one of our best-selling hoops with that mixed metal of the black and gold. This is a size medium. Because we sell hoops so well, we do have them in multiple sizes, like a small, medium, and large. This is a medium, which tends to be the best seller. And again, I want you to look at that contrast of the black and gold. Because it has the darkened metal in the background, you're really able to see that workmanship on the hoop itself. So this is a classic round. My jewelry is described as classic with a twist. I do tend to dress like that too. But adding something a little bit interesting, but still not overwhelmingly, obnoxiously really big, but really just classic. And then, of course, these are the teardrop shaped earrings that are one of our best-selling earrings. Again, I think because It's just very versatile. The size is really versatile too. It's not too big and not too small. And again, movement. It has such nice movement to it. And these nice gold bezel stations on the front of the teardrop shape.
Those teardrop shape are one of my favorites. They're really flattering
I
stuff.
know, right? Very flattering.
Mhm.
This is definitely one of our best sellers.
So just to let the people that are attending here, can we give them kind of a rough idea of the prices of your earrings, what they start at?
Sure. So these guys here are the teardrops. Those are $150. And then these hoops, correct me if I'm wrong, Susan, but I think they're $225. I don't like to show it to you guys with the tags because it doesn't look as pretty.
That's okay, as long as
Yeah, so they range between $150 and $250 for earrings, more or less. Bangles range from $200 to $350. Only the strength bangle is $395, but it is a wider bangle. So top price is usually around $600. So range between $200 and $600.
Okay. Before we open up to any questions, if we do get any questions, do you have anything else you want to show us? Anything that are you in your office, by the way?
I am in my office. I am in my office. If you want, I can show you guys a virtual tour of the space. Yeah, absolutely. But I will have to call it in, so give me a second. You guys can continue schmoozing. I'm gonna call this in, and I'll give you guys a tour of the space. It's always fun to see where I get my inspiration from, and it's fun to see it. So let's see. Here we go. I'm going to join you guys by phone, okay? So let me just add it here.
You're much more technical. You got a lot more technical knowledge than some of us do here.
All right, Susan is letting me in, right? Okay, let me leave this meeting.
So you're all going to get a quick inside view of your office. So this is exciting for me too.
All right, you guys can see me?
Yeah.
Okay, so where I was sitting was in my office, right back here, and I will turn my camera around so you guys can see what it looks like. So the view I have of my space from my office is this. Now I want you guys to keep in mind that this space is exactly that grit to glam moment that I told you about earlier in the call. When we moved in here, this building dates back from the late 1800s that we're in an industrial area in Brooklyn. And the floors were completely gray. There was exposed beams and pipes all over the place. It was just one big empty room. And we completely transformed the space into something that looks more like a Freida Rothman. Actually looks a little bit like my house, but looks like the Freida Rothman brand. So here's our little conference room area. I do have pictures of my grandparents hanging all over the office. I think it's so important to see them and to understand and appreciate everything that I have and everything that they worked so hard that I can have. And then there's that picture of Dolly and Susie that I told you about earlier in the call. This is the organization that I work with, Nachas Health and Family Network, that we donate to for every $100 purchased. The beautiful Dolly and Susie. And I'll show you guys the view. That's my husband Matt's office. There you go. You asked me about modeling. That's me modeling. I wasn't lying. And of course, the beautiful view. Today it's a little cloudy, but you do get to see the skyline of New York. And to your left, down there, you can see Lady Liberty standing there. And then a lot of the trucks that you see down here are all, these are all government vehicles, actually. This is all set up for COVID crisis, so they're all here. It's been really, really busy across the street. And then down there to your right is Industry City, which is, again, the same building that I'm in right now. That's what the outside looks like, but those have all been like refaced and redone. And you can see the smokestacks. All the way down there to your right is actually federal prison, so we're definitely in a gritty area in Brooklyn. And of course, the skyline straight ahead is Brooklyn, and then there is Manhattan. So if you look down here, you can clearly see the railroad tracks that I was telling you guys about. So when you're actually crossing the streets, they do meet, and they have that crisscross effect. And then there's the cobblestone streets that Susan and I are always tripping over getting into work. which inspired the Celestial collection, the spring collection. And then back here is kind of our little entryway walking into work. And then, of course, more offices. So that's kind of my space. If you guys have any questions or you want to see anything else or more jewels, I'll be happy to show you.
Susan, are you having any questions there?
No, I just had one person asking about some of our best sellers, which she messaged privately, which is our signature studded eternity bangle, the teardrop earring that Freida had mentioned, our oh so gorgeous statement bangle, and of course our strength bracelet has had an overwhelming response. So.
Okay, well, unless nobody else has any questions, then this is the world of Freida Rothman, and we're so proud to represent you at our store here, Freida. So if anybody wants to reach out to us directly, it's info@cornellsjewelers.com, or make sure if you want to go directly to Freida's site, just put in the code Cornell's Jeweler, or Cornell's, right? Is that?
Yes, Cornell's, and I'm typing that right now in the chat again, just in case anybody missed it, exactly what to put in and check out.
All right, well, thank you very much, everyone, for joining us tonight, and have a great have a nice dinner and have a cocktail on us.
Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. Stay safe, and I hope you guys enjoyed.
Okay, bye.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Freida.
Thank you. Of course. Thank you.